They're some of the most recognizable mammals on Earth today, and the only group of mammals to have claimed true control of the skies through powered flight. They're also one of the most successful mammal species by number, with around 1 in 5 classified mammal species being bats. That's no small feat. Needless to say, the bat body plan clearly works well. However, while bats are incredibly distinctive, they may not be quite the pioneers they seem, as there was once a dinosaur from the mid-Jurassic that beat them to the post on their iconic body plan. Meet Yi Qi, a rather endearing little maniraptoran theropod that was found in the Tiaojishan Formation in China. The Yi Qi is known from just a single, remarkably well-preserved specimen, which fortunately was impressively complete for a first find, including the forearm bones, the most defining features of the animal. The bones were also analyzed by CT scan to verify their authenticity, and good news, they were found to be legitimate. The Yi Qi was a maniraptoran theropod from the mid to late Jurassic, evolving around 160 million years ago. As part of the Scansoriopteridae, the Yi Qi was also a basal species of paravas, a group that today survives in only a single clade, the avialae, or the birds. Similarly to most modern birds, the Yi Qi was also very small, weighing only around 0.8 pounds. So, what was it that made the Yi specimen so special? Well, it's those long forearm bones we mentioned before, plus the unique wrist morphology of the creature. Critically, its third digit seemed to be unusually extended, and an additional bony strut grew from the wrist itself. The fossil also shows a membrane attached to these, suggesting that the Yi likely had a membranous wing, similar to that of several modern species. Bats are the obvious comparison, of course. However, the bony strut makes its wing morphology perhaps closer to the modern greater glider, a large gliding marsupial. Unfortunately, we don't have the complete picture for the shape of the wing membrane of this peculiar little dinosaur, as the inner membrane didn't preserve in the fossils. Nevertheless, what we can see from the fossil certainly sets it apart as one of the stranger Jurassic dinos. But the big question here still stands. Could the Yi actually fly? A membrane wing doesn't necessarily mean powered flight is possible, after all. And while it's a fun thought to imagine a bat-like dinosaur zipping around the skies, it's more likely in reality that the Yi would have been a glider. This is backed up by features such as the rigid styloform strut and the limited pectoral muscles, suggesting that flapping wouldn't have been particularly effective. The original researchers did suggest the possibility that Yi may have used both flapping and gliding to stay airborne, however. This flight style would make a lot of sense, given that the creature's center of mass seems to suggest its flight would have been unstable. However, long tail feathers and slight flapping may have helped offset this. Somewhat similarly, the kakapo from New Zealand has a similar movement style, and although it is too heavy to fly, it is able to flap to control its descent when jumping. The Yi has been compared several times to the Ambopteryx, another Jurassic maniraptoran dinosaur that had both flight membranes and feathers. Both species are believed to have likely lived in relatively dense forests, where their gliding abilities would have made it far easier to traverse exposed canopies. Once again, similar to many modern gliding species. As such, the Yi Qi offers a fascinating insight into the principles behind convergent evolution, where unrelated species evolve similar solutions to a shared environmental challenge. Unfortunately, our tiny little dino had another challenge to contend with, aside from just its challenges with flight: getting airborne at all. As such, being confined to the ground until climbing to greater heights no doubt may have limited the Yi Qi's survivability, especially in a world where other paravas were beginning to develop more efficient flight capabilities. And with species such as the iconic Archaeopteryx just around the evolutionary bend, perhaps it's unsurprising that this little gliding bat wannabe just wasn't able to keep up long term. So it's safe to say this tiny little dino was definitely peculiar, even in a world where odd creatures were everywhere. Hopefully, we'll find further fossils to expand our knowledge of the species and its place in its ecosystem in the future, too. What do you think about the Yi Qi? Is it your newest favorite dinosaur? It's definitely become one of mine. Let me know in the comments, and be sure to like and subscribe for more Paleo Brew videos soon.